Welcome back. Joining me now is Dame Andrea Jenkyns, Mayor of Greater Lincolnshire and a leading voice for Reform UK. Andrea, lovely to see you on a Sunday morning. Oh, pretty in pink. Lovely.
Oh, thank you. Pretty in yellow.
So on Monday, I was at the launch of the crime and punishment season for Reform. Some impressive announcements there, but I did get the impression that your leader, Nigel Farage, was slowly backing away from his plan to send criminals to El Salvador. It's not workable, that, is it? Because El Salvadorian prisons are already well oversubscribed. They have 109,000 inmates in 67,000 cells. So there's no way of making it work. It's one of those reform promises that is never going to be delivered.
No, I mean, this is using El Salvador as an example. I think that kind of method would work if we find a country who we can do a deal with. But look, let's face it, Reform want to shake up law and order in Britain. I mean, I don't feel safe. I don't know about you, Camilla. We know that young women and girls don't feel safe. The Jewish community don't feel safe in Britain, the elderly. And it's lawless Britain now. So it's right that we push ahead. I mean, to me, I've always said, even when I was a Tory MP, that no crime is too small to go unpunished. And this is certainly the line that we are taking with Reform.
Where are you on the treatment of sex offenders after they've left prison? I did put this to Mr. Farage at the press conference, and he said he hadn't made his mind up about it, but that we should await further announcements. Some have suggested that if it's a case of a prolific paedophile who has repeatedly attacked children, they should actually face chemical castration. Where are you on that, Dame Andrea?
I've been saying that for a long time, even when I was a Tory MP. Yes. Look, I'm a mother myself. You're a mother. It's an abhorrent crime. People cannot be cured from stuff like that. I personally don't believe they deserve to live, but that's another matter. This is my personal view. So I think chemical castration, most definitely.
Sorry. Are you for the death penalty, I was going to ask?
I am, yes, definitely.
Are you? In which cases?
Murder of children. Murder of our veterans or police officers. It's obviously got to be to the stage where it's beyond unreasonable doubt, but definitely. I mean, look, if we look at the stats at the moment, we definitely need stronger sentencing for sexual and violent crimes. There's got to be an easy reporting system for women and people who suffer from domestic abuse. But also, if you look at the county lines at the moment, they're moving from drugs to phone theft, but if you look at Lincolnshire, rural crimes, I don't think any government, unfortunately, has really tackled that. And I mean, that's on the up, and it's apparently 3.4 million farming thefts in the UK. And in Lincolnshire alone, Camilla, antisocial behaviour and violent crime is worse than the national average in three key areas: Lincoln, Skegness and Boston. And this is, especially Skegness and Boston, this is where we have a lot more migrants coming over as well. And so we need to ensure, as I said, no crime is too small to go unpunished.
Hello, I'm Bev Turner. Now, it can feel like the money in our bank accounts at the moment does not keep up with the cost of living. And maybe there's a solution. I'm here today with the CEO of TallyMoney, Cameron Parry. Cameron, what is TallyMoney?
Well, Bev, with TallyMoney, you get a current account and a debit card, but instead of pounds, you use milligrams of gold as your everyday money.
So why gold?
Gold traditionally is a great store of value. It has, on average, gone up at over 11% per annum for the last 25 years against the pound. It's tripled in value in the last decade. And in the last 2 years alone, it's increased by 50% against the pound. Banks' savings products just can't compete with that level of growth.
But this isn't just about gold. This is about a currency that you guys have created at TallyMoney. Explain it to me as though I'm an idiot.
So, look, people need to be able to hold their earnings and build their savings in a money that retains its value and remains in their legal control and remains theirs to access, away from government control.
Great. You had me at not exposed to government control.
You should feel safe and happy with your money. You should have peace of mind. The more money you see in your bank balance, and that's the type of thing we're trying to deliver, and give people choice in the type of money they get to use every day.
Brilliant. Thank you so much, Cameron. Thank you.
I'll get on to migrants in just a moment. Just on that issue of the death penalty and indeed chemical castration, are you trying to move Farage further into that space? Because he didn't go that far on Monday, and I get the impression he probably won't go that far.
No, I mean, look, even when I was a Tory MP, I didn't try to move the Conservative Party that way because I think there'd have to be a referendum on something so big. So you've asked me for my view. That's my personal view.
Yeah, no, you're entitled to a view, of course.
Absolutely.
When we come on to migrant hotels and some of the protests we've seen in Epping, and now they're actually sort of spilling out into other areas of the country, what's the situation in Lincolnshire? We've talked in the past, haven't we, about migrants being in hotels and you'd rather they were in tents. Do you still stand by that, Andrea? What do you want to do about the 32,000 migrants that are currently in a hotel accommodation in the UK?
Look, I mean, as we discussed when I made that statement, Camilla, this is actually putting an end to soft touch Britain. We're forever going to have this pull. Look, we have these prepaid cards that we give to migrants when they're in hotels that they can spend, a tenner a week or something. We saw in the Telegraph this week they were spending them on gambling.
I think it's actually £7 a day on those Aspen cards.
Is that £7 a day? Oh, blimey.
Yeah. And then there was a Freedom of Information request found out that 6,500 transactions had been used in gambling settings. Carry on.
Yeah, but it's shocking. So if we don't put an end to this, people are going to keep wanting to come over. So that's my whole point about the tents comment. Any benefits should not be there. I mean, look, our British people are struggling, Camilla. I mean, I speak to elderly in Lincolnshire, and as I spoke to Yorkshire elderly people when I was a Tory MP, people are struggling. They're having to make the choice between heating their home and paying their council tax or food. So we've got to have a mentality where we put the people of Britain first. OK, so the Kemi Badenoch argument from the Conservatives that we just heard earlier, I don't know if you caught the interview, is it's all very well saying these things, but like the practicality, for instance, of putting migrants in tents, do you accept that will be quite tricky? Where would you put them? How many would you have? How would there be sanitation? Just answer a few of those concerns, Andrea. Yes, no, of course. I mean, it isn't our policy anyway. This was me, wasn't it, who said that? Look, the whole point is that if we can have these camps in France, I mean, what I want initially is just send them back, deport them. But we've got to have a place where we process to then send back. And this is what I'm saying, that we've got to have a place where we process, send them back, but only allow tents to be available in the processing centre. That's the kind of thing I'm thinking of.
How about this idea? Trump is obviously over in Turnberry right now. Bev Turner's up there and we're going to be speaking to her a little later. He's brought down southern crossings by 93% with really tough enforcement on the border. We've also had a number of Republican politicians actively moving migrants into Democrat areas and saying, well, look, if you like migrants so much, you have them in your constituency. Is that something that Reform would consider? Send them to Bristol, send them to Brighton?
No, I don't. Look, I mean, we've even seen it with antisocial behaviour, even when I was a councillor in Lincolnshire, where you have alcohol disbursement areas and it just actually pushes people further out into the villages, etc. It doesn't work. And if you're a government, you've got to govern for the whole of the country, haven't you? And so that wouldn't work. To me, it's about being tough on crime. And this will also, if we're and being soft touch Britain and we're tough on crime as well, because I mean, we don't know if we're importing criminals at the moment. We need to see more transparency in crime stats, don't we? So I think
on that subject, we've got in front of me now the Sunday Telegraph. Taliban fighters on mercy flights to Britain. As a result of the Afghan data breach, we now understand that sex offenders, corrupt officials and people imprisoned under the US-led coalition are among those who have been accepted for resettlement in the UK after an apparent failure of vetting procedures. So this is an investigation that we have done as part of that operation to bring people over here after the data breach.
I mean, it's just shocking, isn't it? And I'm so disappointed in the previous government that, when I was an MP, we didn't get to know about these because there was no scrutiny. I mean, they could have actually made a private session on the floor of the House of Commons to have truly debated it, couldn't they? And so it's truly shocking, the cover-ups and the timing that was until after a general election. But it's wrong, Kim. I mean, I recall being in the chamber saying that we should publish the stats of crimes per nationality. And I got booed by the Labour Party, the Green Party, the Lib Dem. And I think, unfortunately, you know, these parties are out of touch, aren't they, with the people in Britain. If you can't see where you're importing what you're importing and the crime levels, then how can you fix the problem? You can't.
Okay, final kind of party-related question. Should Zia Youssef stop tweeting so much? We did have this unfortunate retweet of something anti-Semitic towards Robert Jenrick, who's married to a Jewish woman. Did you have words on behalf of your former colleague in the Conservatives? Is he tweeting too much?
I did speak to Zia, of course I did.
Did you? And what did you say?
I'm not going to disclose what I said, but look, I do speak to Zia on a regular basis. I speak to Nigel, I speak to Richard, work closely with Richard in Lincolnshire. Look, mistakes happened. Zia said it was somebody that was scrolling through Twitter and someone in this team liked it. You know, we've got to accept our colleagues' words for it. Zia's doing a great job with Doge and saving taxpayers' money, and I want him to come to Lincolnshire. So long may he continue and come to Lincolnshire and sort the finances out here. That's what I'd like to see.
All right. Thank you very much for your time as ever, Dame Andrea. Lovely to see you this morning.
And you.
Thank you.
Take care. Bye.
Coming